Let's try this again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
I swear to God, it's
to another edition of Ball Knowers. Happy Thanksgiving. We're heading towards Thanksgiving time. We are thankful that the football season is almost over. Unless you're playing fantasy football, then your season's
very much alive.
Very much alive.
My season's over.
Your season's finished. I'm 7-5. Yeah, I'm in a playoff spot.
I'm like 8-4 or something
He's
like that.
cooking. Cam, just like his Giants, are failing. Welcome back to Ball Knowers. Robbie Basil, Cam Woolley, Luke Dolan. Our teams, my team lost the bye week by 55. The New York Jets lost the bye week. As we continue our tank for probably like the 7th pick at this rate, who the hell knows? But you guys are on the tank for the first pick, and the New York Giants had a game against Tampa Bay.
If you could call it that.
If you can call it that.
They participated.
They got the participation award of losing by 23 to Tampa Bay, which tough scenes. Shout out Bucky Irving ruining my night because Rachaad White did not get enough touches of the football. That did tick me off.
Mm-hmm.
But little did I know that my fantasy team would be won by Drake May. I had Drake May at quarterback and won a match, which is very impressive. But we're not here to talk about my fantasy team. We are here to talk about the New York Football Giants because, of course, the Jets lost the bye week. But to the Giants, Tommy DeVito was not great. The Giants as a whole were not great. What's your thoughts on what the Giants did this weekend?
I mean, if we're talking about the product on the field, it was a disgrace. It was clearly a team that showed that they had given up. It's a team that's given up on their coach. It's a team that's given up on their vision. And the Daniel Jones benching clearly had an effect on that locker room. And, I am kind of ticked at the players for, holding so much sentimental value for a guy who did close to nothing to benefit the team and being that distraught and bent out of shape about it.
It is a team effort. I will say that.
Like, again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Daniel Jones who wasn't the problem, because he clearly was the problem. Quarterback play is still the problem for the Giants. And I think that drilling to the bottom of the league and getting that first overall pick is going to help them get a quarterback. And
are we confident in these quarterbacks, though?
Yes.
I like Cam Ward. I am a big Cam Ward
the Hurricanes
guy.
Goalie.
The Hurricanes.
I know, but believe me, I have made that joke plenty of times.
He does play for the Hurricanes.
He does.
Oh my God, that's right.
That's the big thing.
Cam Ward, who plays a shout out 2006 Stanley Cup champion Cam Ward, but yeah, the Giants. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I want them to win because I don't want them to win. It's better for them to lose. What is there possibly to gain from winning games? You look at the town. I don't care about beating Dallas. I've dealt with losing to Dallas a million times. Like, if ironically enough, the one time we would beat Dallas in Jerry World for the first time in 8 years would be to screw up our draft pick. So, that would happen. But
the Tommy DeVito Cooper Rush matchup is going to be really great on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving football, no?
Yeah, I'm going to be paying attention to the conversation with my family during that game.
I mean, that's what football is all about. It's not actually watching the game.
Yeah, I'm going to pay attention to the random, monotonous conversation topics that my family brings up that I have no knowledge nor interest in. I will have more interest in whatever my relatives bring up over whatever god-awful ball is going to take place in Arlington, Texas.
Well, I wouldn't be, I would be careful what you wish for. Sometimes
I would say that.
Oh yeah, God, I know. Like, wishing to be involved in a conversation with my family is very taxing and very rough. But
it could be very varying conversations of topics.
I know, varying conversation topics. Election year, that's going to be tough. But I'm willing to sit through that as opposed to 4 hours of
terrible football
involving my team. So, I mean, as for the big picture, there's a lot of talk about the Giants cleaning house and firing Brian Dable and Joe Shane.
I
And
think that would
I
be a
think
mistake.
it is trending in that direction.
I
Because
do that would be a mistake.
I think it would be a mistake too, but I'm not super duper opposed to it because, maybe you could pluck a couple guys from the Detroit Brain Trust,
If you
but
can, there's going to be a
but
lot of guys
I-
that want them.
but you know what is going to happen if they clean house. John Mara is going to be like, okay, we tried outside the Giant way. It didn't work. So you know exactly who he's calling.
Bill Belichick.
Yes. Bill Belichick is going to be made the czar of the New York Football Giants this offseason if they do decide to clean house. And I think that would be a terrible idea
Yeah.
because Belichick, as accomplished as he is, the game passed him by. And as we've found out as a coach after Brady, Brady kind of masked up his inefficiencies on how to manage an offense. Having the greatest quarterback ever will do that, but he knows how to build a defense and he knows how to make a defense ready to play. If Belichick has made the Giant head coach, I think the Giants will have a very stout defense. But the problem is you're not going to – I don't trust him to build an offense. We've seen him miss on receivers countless times.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Patriots draft record of receivers in the high rounds in Brady's late stage in his career when he was still winning titles, it's not a good track record. You got, N'Keal Harry. That's all I need to say. N'Keal Harry.
Do we want to run through the list? Let me see
Oh,
if
what?
you
You have
so when did Brady start playing? In the 90s?
Brady got drafted in 2000, but let's not act like he didn't have any hits in the 2000s. I mean,
In the first round, he had a couple, but not.
well,
Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork, I guess.
okay.
Gerard Mayo, good first round pick in 2008.
Hey,
I'm
he's a
talking
future
about
coach.
I'm
He
talking
drafted
about
his future
offensive
coach.
players.
Offensively, they haven't had really any offensive picks.
Was Dion Branch? Belichick pick?
No, Deion Branch. Let me find Deion Branch.
Because I remember Dion Branch was pretty good.
He won like Super Bowl MVP one
Deion
year.
Branch. I can't find him here. No, I don't think so. But he didn't draft a lot of offensive players. You want to roll? Well, here are the offensive players in the history. When Tom Brady was quarterback for the New England Patriots, here are the offensive players they drafted. The first one was Daniel Graham, a tight end out of Colorado.
Don't know who that is.
They traded up to get him, by the way. They drafted Benjamin Watson,
Okay, he was good.
another tight end out of Georgia.
Still not a wide receiver.
They drafted a running back in 2006,
Okay, that's all. Was
Lawrence Maroney.
Oh, he was good.
he was
Lawrence Maroney was pretty good.
Out of
He was good
Minnes-
for like a time.
Yeah.
time. The next offensive player pick was not picked till 2011. After that,
Oof.
and they picked up Nate Solder.
He was good on the Pats.
on the Pats.
Not good for a second.
Not for the
yeah,
Giants.
Yeah, but we know how. Nate
When do we
Solder's
think the
Giant
next
tenure
offensive
went.
player was picked after that in the first round? And this is Bill Belichick drafting, by the way. What year?
In the first round?
In the first round. What was the next time they picked an offensive player?
So Nate Solder was picked in 2010 or
He was picked in 2011. It's later than you think.
Gonna have to go. I'm gonna guess 2018.
He nailed it.
Sonny Michelle.
Yes, it was.
yes.
Sonny. Actually, no, sorry, correction. It was the first pick was Isaiah Wynn,
Okay, Isaiah Wynn. Okay, so
And then they
same
picked Sonny
draft.
Michel.
Same draft.
and then they picked N'Keal Harry. So since that draft in 2018, there's been only one draft where they did not pick an offensive player in the first round.
Mm.
That they actually used a pick in, and that pick was Christian Gonzalez, who's actually been pretty good for
To
them.
Christian Gonzalez,
He's
is a
kinda gross.
stud.
But the picks they've had from 2018, we'll just read through them. Isaiah Wynn, Sony Michel, N'Keal Harry, Mac Jones, Cole Strange, Drake May are their offensive picks.
Hmm.
How many of those have hit? I'd say one, maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna call what we call Drake May yet.
I mean, Drake May.
I'm
confident.
I think Cole Strange is okay.
I think.
Sony
Sony
Michel,
Michel was good for them.
and then he retired. So
Yeah.
Sony Michel's not even in the game.
I mean, Mac Jones had like pretty.
He made the
Mac Jones
playoffs
was
with them. He made the playoffs.
mid.
With them.
He was okay, but he was just a game manager.
Really,
Yes.
yeah.
On a still pretty good Patriots roster.
And now he's on Jacksonville rotting away, and he looked really bad in his one start for Jacksonville. He looked terrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's still making his money.
He's still making the money, but let me just put it at this: the Patriots haven't had the best drafting history, and I don't know if the Giants would want that, but I think it's a direction the Giants could go.
I don't remember, dude. Belichick's what, like 75?
He's as old as what the next president is going to be. Maybe
I think Trump's got a couple years on him.
really.
Like Trump's 78.
Bill Belichick, he is 72.
Okay, 72. That's still, I mean,
Yeah.
young for a president nowadays.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's real quick go over the projected coaching spots, like coaching jobs, head coaches for next season.
What if he goes to the Jets?
Oh my, he wouldn't go to the Jets. He's already said he wouldn't go to the Jets.
I mean,
That is a very Jets move. So the team
no,
projected.
you guys aren't you guys circling around Rex Ryan right now?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, he's the last guy they might to the
dude.
playoffs.
I mean,
That would be like hiring Lindy Ruff if you're the Sabres again.
yeah, oh my God, you're right.
I know, I'm
Yeah,
right.
dude. Lindy Ruff and Rex Ryan are basically the same coach, just in different sports.
Yep.
Wow. So Lindy Ruff, it's like a grasp at getting back to the good old days.
Oh
Yeah,
my
of
God.
a decade ago.
Yeah.
So the team's projected to have head coach openings next season: the New York Jets, the New York Giants, Dallas. There really isn't like a lot right now.
Jerry Jones just said something on some
Oh, what he did? What is it about the sun again?
no about Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this up on
Let's find it.
on my Twitter.
Is he gonna keep him?
Because I quote tweeted it.
Is he gonna keep?
Um,
Here are the other
apparently-
teams projected to have head coaching changes. Tampa Bay's on here. With
I mean, Todd Bowles. Yeah.
That's a,
Oh, you can bring him back. The Jets.
oh, absolutely not. He didn't have. I thought he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great. Let's be honest. He
I
had one
think
good
Todd
year.
Bowles just kind of managed a good roster in Tampa
Yeah.
pretty well.
Other ones, there really isn't a lot right now. That's projected because there hasn't been a lot of coaching changes yet. The one I think would happen next is Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville would be
Yeah.
very intriguing.
Oh, Doug Peterson sucks. Who would have guessed?
Not
was thinking?
not Trent Baalke apparently.
Oh my God, that's another.
I can't believe he's still there, Trent Baalke.
He's projected to get canned, but this way, who
He
knows?
should.
I don't know.
I mean, okay. That's a topic for a
I
different.
think-
That's about AEW.
yeah. I mean, the other coaching jobs, I think that would be up for grabs. I mean, Giants, you mentioned Jacksonville. Tennessee's not, they just got a new coach. Carolina just got a new coach. You wouldn't
Yeah.
consider them.
No, okay.
New Orleans has a coaching opening. I
About
forgot
no,
Dennis
about
Allen.
Trent Baalke because in wrestling, people were upset with Tony Khan with how he manages
Here
like
we go with the
AEW
wrestling.
Oh, here we
briefly,
go with the rest.
and
There
like,
we go,
he's
yeah.
gonna make Shad Khan upset with him losing money, but like, Shad Khan still employs Trent Baalke. He does not care. He
Yeah.
does not care. I'm sorry, he does not care. Tony Khan can do whatever he wants because that man still employs Trent Baalke as his GM for way too long.
way too long.
Okay, so here's the Jerry Jones quote about Mike McCarthy.
let's hear
that might
this.
make you change your mind on the Cowboys having an opening.
No way.
According to JPA Football, this comes from JPA Football on Twitter, so a reasonably reliable source. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on 105.3 The Fan. He said, owner Jerry Jones says it wouldn't be crazy if the team gave head coach Mike McCarthy an extension. Quote, I don't think that's crazy at all. That's not crazy. He's an outstanding coach.
He is.
This is a Super Bowl winning coach. End quote.
He,
By all means, Jerry. By all means.
he
by
is
all
a
means,
good coach. He
come
is
on.
a good coach.
No, he's a great coach. Come on. He gets you to the playoffs.
He gets you to the playoffs every.
He gets you to the playoffs.
Maybe.
Don't be ungrateful.
Yeah.
We may not lose a playoff game, but he makes the playoffs.
He makes
We
the
may not win a
playoffs.
playoff.
It's just like the
No,
Detroit
no,
Red Wings of this sport.
Well,
of this
no,
sport.
again, he is a good coach. I hope they keep him. I
Yeah,
hope,
yeah,
really hope
yeah,
they keep
but It
him.
would be a really smart move if
Yeah.
they
really
kept
be
Mike
forward
McCarthy.
thinking. You know, the Eagles can keep Nick Sirianni as long as they want as well.
Oh no.
Although the Eagles are a wagon.
Then-
right
Oh,
now.
because of a
Eagles-
certain
Oh yeah, Saquon Barkley. Let's talk about Saquon.
Oh,
Barkley.
well, I
good
didn't
lord.
want to.
We'll save Saquon Barkley for a bit, but go back to the coaching openings. The other two teams that I think that would consider it are Cleveland, possibly, depending on what they want to do.
Are you
I don't-
really going to fire Kevin
Here's an
Stefanski?
interesting.
I would, if the Browns fire Kevin Stefanski, I want the Giants to jump on him in a
He's
heartbeat.
won Coach of the Year 2 times.
I know, but here's the other one.
Are you
I
really
think
going?
could
He's the
open.
best coach they've had since they've revived.
That's true.
They
But
cannot fire Kevin
here's-
Stefanski.
I
They've
think
already
it-
made one mistake letting someone walk out the door with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
That's true.
and bringing in
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
I guess that's 2 mistakes. Actually,
Here's the other opening that I think could possibly happen. What about the Cincinnati Bengals?
Maybe.
With Zach Taylor.
Ooh, that's a spicy one right
I-
there.
I think that's
I
very
didn't think about
possible.
that, but that makes sense.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
they're 4-7. Their offense has been great. Their defense has been atrocious. That's an understatement, by the way.
What did they hire Ben Johnson?
That's a perfect fit.
Oh,
Ben Johnson plus Joe Burrow plus
well, I
Jamar
mean,
Chase.
everybody wants Ben Johnson to be their head coach.
I mean, yeah,
I
Yeah,
think
Ben
anyone with a
Johnson,
pulse.
Ben Johnson is gonna get such a bag
here
this
the-
offseason.
here are the coaching candidates for next season. Let's run through our top picks.
Mike Kafka.
The first one, the first person on here.
Remember
to
that?
know who the Giants are going to get? I know they love their Buffalo Bills personnel. Go get Joe Brady.
Oh no.
Ken Dorsey.
Or he's not even on here.
Oh, the guy I'd like the Giants hire, like if they do
Ben
end up-
Johnson.
Well, if they fire Dayball, they gotta fire Shane because
I mean, yeah.
Mike Kafka is your new head coach. Congratulations.
no. But like if they do fire Dayball and they fire Shane and they clean house, I'm open to Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm open. I'm
You're
open.
I
really
do-
going back? I don't think that helps you.
He's
I'm
a
open
good
to-
coach. He
There's
is a good
not a lot
coach.
of coaches here that could really
Don't even have to
help.
deal with Town Downing.
I'm open to it.
Really?
I'm open. Well, if he gets the right GM and hires the right offensive coordinator.
are you
I'm
trying to
open
You're
go-
asking John Mayer to do a lot.
Are you trying to go with like the youth? Are you trying to go with like an experienced coach?
I would.
I mean, we're still trying to build a roster.
I would like an experienced. I'd like an experienced guy because the roster. I don't think the roster. I've said this a million times. I don't think the roster is as far off as.
I mean, they still need to do some building. Like the secondary needs that work.
Yeah, they only have one interception this year. They're gonna break the NFL record for most consecutive games without an
so you need a
interception.
defensive guy, you're saying?
No,
Oh
no,
god, they're gonna
no,
hire Wink.
no,
Oh god, they're gonna hire
no,
Wink
no,
Martindale.
no,
No,
no, no,
they're
no,
gonna
no.
Well,
hire-
actually, no. If they hire Wink
No, no,
Martindale,
no,
that would
no,
be
no.
the funniest thing
I
ever.
don't know if. I mean, I'm saying this as I'm advocating for Mike Vrabel, but I don't know if I want like a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah, and yet this guy
But
Robert
again-
Saleh.
But again, we tried.
shout.
But again, we tried with Brian Dable as like the offensive guru mastermind.
I still think it would be a mistake to fire him right now.
Yeah, like I do think it would be. A
Who's the
mistake.
Ravens offensive coordinator? Can someone hire him, please, to get him away from the Ravens? I forgot his name.
I don't know.
No,
You're
Greg
asking-
Ro-
you're asking me.
I know they fired Greg Roman.
They fired Greg.
So someone from like Michigan or something that the Harbaugh can.
I don't know. Ravens.
We're spending a
offensive-
lot of time on football.
We are, but we'll go to hockey. Oh, Todd Monken. Someone signed this man. He is a perfect fit
Any
for
offensive
the
coordinator.
Dallas Cowboys because they will ruin this man, even though he's had like is on pace to have one of the best offensive teams in history.
Any offensive coordinator would look like a genius with
Please
Lamar Jackson and
send
Derrick
him.
Henry, though. Like,
No, but like he's doing like significantly better in terms of yards than Greg Roman. At least in my because they were talking about it last night, like the yards comparisons, like drastic. But the Giants, their season's done. We could throw them to the wayside. I want to bring up one of the teams because we gotta shout out some of the performances from this week. Because some of the on-field performances were absolutely absurd.
Nobody knows how to play football in the National Football League
No one
anymore.
does.
No one.
does.
Like, I was watching the Red Zone. I was watching the Witching Hour during the 1 o'clock window, and
No one knows how to play football. Wait, you had to regulate the realization like last week before when you said
Yeah. I mean, the teams I want to shout out today, there's a couple. I want to start off though. We're gonna go back to Dallas because they collapsed and then they found a way to hold on in the end. Because for those who did not watch the end of Dallas, Washington,
oh my
I
God.
didn't see it.
Dallas scores. They're up by like what are they up by 7?
They're,
Yes.
they're up by 10.
No, they're up by 7 because Washington scores. but then misses the extra point because Austin Seibert, a terrible snap, great hold by Tress Way. He snap hooks it to
A
the left like
terrible
Cameron's
snap.
golf swing.
Terrible snap. Yeah.
So-
my golf swing. What? I know.
You-
We gotta play golf sometime.
do gotta play golf sometime.
We gotta play golf.
oh,
Like,
definitely.
give me. I mean,
Media guys playing golf.
I know the problem with my swing.
He would probably snap hook it into the woods, just
Yeah,
like Austin
yeah.
Seibert's extra point.
No, I don't hook. I slice.
Oh, lovely. It's even worse.
I have a slice.
But to make it even worse, Washington goes for the onside kick. It's recovered by Dallas. But for some reason, they return it back for a touchdown. They do not run out the clock. They go, they're up by 8.
So they give the ball back
So
to Washington.
gets the ball back. They chuck it towards the end zone. It's not far enough, and Dallas wins somehow. But that wasn't my favorite storyline of football at all this week.
What about that
This is the
10
only-
minute, that like 1 minute period, the 10-minute period, and like that 1 o'clock?
No, we're going back to Saturday because I gotta shout this out from Saturday. Did anyone see what happened with Arizona State and BYU on Saturday?
No.
No.
Okay,
no.
so here's what
I'm
happened.
not a college football
I'm-
guy.
I'm
I
like-
live in the Northeast. I don't.
Let me walk you through real quick.
What, the best teams like Rutgers
Let's,
in our
Rutgers,
area?
yeah,
let's
that's-
walk you through
or
the finish.
BC, I think he's doing pretty well.
They're
Right?
okay.
And
No,
we-
no, Army.
What? Yeah, I guess. Like, but we don't have a football team, so
We don't.
So let's walk you through what happens. Arizona State and BYU are at the top of the Big 12.
Yeah.
And Arizona State storms the field with 1 second left.
Oh no.
So,
Oh no.
so Arizona State leading by 5, storm the field. But BYU still have a chance because there's 1 second left. So it takes like 25 minutes to get the fans off the field. They run the play. Arizona State rushes 2. They almost get to the quarterback side.
Oh my God.
oh no.
BYU is able to chuck one down the field. It's not far enough. Refs miss a penalty. Game ends. That is how it ended. The most chill. Shout
were
out to
gonna end-
BYU's
they were-
head coach though. He's the most chillest dude I've ever seen. He's like the most. He's like, yeah, we may have lost, but just dabs up all the players. Like it's a vibe. I love BYU, but the
The
Mormons
Mormons.
go out and lose.
Yeah, I mean, they're nice people.
How about Arizona State
Very
though?
nice.
Shout out to them
Oh,
being
Zach
9-2.
Wilson.
Yeah.
But I know you've wanted to talk hockey, and that's where
Oh boy.
we're going from
All right.
the gridiron to the ice. The Rangers who had a
All right,
tough
Rob-
loss yesterday.
Robbie,
Well-
could you do the courtesy and just mute both of our mics and just let Luke?
Well, first
Just-
of all, before we go to the Rangers, shout out to my Islanders. We lost again.
Blow
Hey, yeah,
our lead.
I blew another 3rd period lead. Hey, I had Detroit's goalies last night.
Hey,
You
but
did.
how would you feel? How would you feel if we played a little pretend GM here and worked out a deal to send Kyle Palmieri back to the New Jersey Devils?
Oh, God.
Hey, well, he's leading your team in points.
I
He's
know.
been good.
He has been good.
No.
You know who else has been good? Dylan Larkin. 12 goals.
Yeah.
Also,
Dude,
one other player.
Dylan Larkin, you want to talk about underrated players? Dylan Larkin
He-
is a great.
still- I
Dylan
think he's-
Larkin is a true, legit
He
number
has
one
to-
center on just
And-
not only a bad but irrelevant team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can, I
Too
can
bad
agree.
Detroit sucks.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, dude, Dylan Larkin, dude, I'd give him some love to him.
But,
Yeah.
American,
Yeah, and I think he still holds the All-Star speed skating record.
I think
yeah, he can
so.
fly
Yeah.
too.
Also, one other player I want to shout out real quick is my boy Kapril Kaprizov.
What, dude,
Kaprizov.
Kirill
He's not injured. He's
Kaprizov.
not injured.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's not sent to the
dude.
gulag of injury. To the injury gulag. He is actually killing it. 34 points in 20 games for Kapril.
Marty
Kaprizov.
Natchez is going off too.
Oh my god.
Didn't you just say that the Canes had no star power?
Well,
That's what I said. That's
I mean,
what I
they
said.
still don't.
They still don't.
They still
What do
don't.
you mean? You were just talking about Marty Natchez going off.
Yeah. Well,
Shout out Marty Natchez.
I
but-
remember
they wanted
there
to
was-
trade him.
Dude, I wanted the Devils to trade for him. I remember on draft night this year, the Devils had the 10th pick. I legit thought that the Devils could have traded the 10th overall pick for Marty Natchez.
But you settle.
Really?
You will happily settle for Stefan Nason.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got Stefan Nason.
Okay.
Go,
Now-
Steph. So let's go to the Rangers. They lost last night.
Well-
What's their problem?
All right.
Well, it's
All right.
it's a whole thing. So on November 21st, 2024, the Rangers lost a game to Calgary 3-2, in a game where they give 49 shots. Not a great loss, to say the least. So then
I mean,
2 days later, they followed that up by losing 6-2 to the Edmonton Oilers, and they give 40 shots.
oh well, and Well done.
So, yeah, 2-game losing streak and the way they lost those games, not great. Then yesterday morning at like 11 at 10:54 p.m., Elliot Freeman goes out and says this and tweets this out. In the aftermath of their 6-2 loss in Edmonton on Saturday, the Rangers have made it very clear they are interested in making moves and shaking up the roster. Among the names indicated are Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba. Although other options will be considered. So that is quite the bombshell for me, who's entering my 11 a.m. class that morning, and I'm just sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, what are we doing here?" And they had a game later that night, and they also had called up one of their scoring prospects, Brett Berard, who got a point last night in his first game. So the game was tied 2-2 at the end of a second. Then they ended up losing 5-2 in the third period. In a game where they get once again 43 shots on goal. There needs to be something. Oh, and also Chris Kreider was also out with a made up injury of some sort. I can tell you that much. So that is quite the bombshell to be dropping out yesterday, getting called out by your GM essentially, and then putting up a wet fart of a game last night when you gave up once you get outshot again. And lose pretty big again to the Blues, who are 28th in goals for per game, and they put up 5 on you. That team could not score, and it was Jim Montgomery's first game, who was fired last week. And then they gave him this game. I don't know what you do. You want to get more inspired? Well, I'm going to stick to my guns. Mika Zibanejad has until Juan Soto signs his contract before I really start slandering him on this show. Really start slandering him, being really mean to him. So I'm going to give him all the time. But Chris Kreider has 9 goals, no assists. Need more from him. Victor Trocheck has been going out to very, very slow start. The only good players are Artemi Panarin and Will Cooley and Alexi Lafreniere. Not in that particular order, but the reason why it makes sense to maybe move on from a guy like Chris Kreider is because the emergence of some of the younger players. And to get Mika Zibanejad going, who I said I wouldn't slander, so I'm going to keep from refraining from that. But still, I can criticize somewhat. That dude's got to really get going. He has been too complacent. There are too many guys who are complacent here. And they make the decision to keep Ryan Lindgren and Jacob Trouba as a pairing and put them on 3 key defensive situations. And, oh, wow, they gave up another goal against. Who could have seen that coming? Ryan Lindgren should not be playing a game in the NHL for the Rangers anymore right now. He's been the black hole defensively. And it's hard for me to say that because I am a big Ryan Lindgren guy, but he is clearly not healthy. When is he ever healthy? But particularly this year, he just does not have it. He does not have it. And they were always, and wow, it's funny. They had interest in trading Jacob Trouba earlier. Now you could have told me like in December they basically did trade him, but until they didn't. Which is the whole thing. Now it'd be interesting they trade him now, but they probably need some sort of shakeup. And I don't know what's coming, but the problem with wanting to make moves right now is that you can't, because a lot of teams don't know they're bad yet. So there's not going to be a lot of trades to be made. But we'll see. They need something. They can't score. They can't score 5v5 right now, like always. They had 2 power plays in the first period and still got outshot in the first period.
Really?
Yes. That's not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Shocking.
You can't. We have and we have to pay our goalies, which people seem very reluctant to do. Which I cannot understand why. If you're going to blame the goalies for anything, you are one of one, my friend, because there are guys up front who are supposed to score and can't. And we're paying them a lot of money to do something that they can't do. Mika Zibanejad, wake up. But again, you have time until Juan Soto signs his contract. You are going to be on top of my. I was about to say a bad word.
He was about to go on the ban list. So before Mika Zibanejad gets absolutely banished, like Cam's hopes of the New York Giants doing anything competent.
Also, Hidal needs to come back like now.
Oh yeah, that is very true. I think that's a problem that the Rangers currently have. But
and they also put Capo Kakko at center, who again it was now another better. Hey, he looked pretty good doing it too. And yet another Another center who's better than Mika Zibanejad on the Rangers.
Jeez, I mean, like
That's shocking.
I mean, like if I mean, like this Ranger team. I mean, I still think they're gonna be.
It is still early in the
there.
season.
I think they're still
Yeah.
gonna be there in the playoffs. They have a team makeup that, for some reason, gets them deep into the playoffs.
And they can finish, but now they're not finishing at the moment.
Yeah, so
That's
like,
true.
like there's definitely some things to be concerned about. I mean, like, and look, like we've talked about Igor Shesterkin's contract negotiations and any any leverage that he has. You want to talk about leverage? That just grew like twofold.
I have to say,
over the
also
last couple of weeks.
some tidbits of information.
Yeah,
there's been-
sauces.
Sauces, I guess.
Sauce.
I have
What's
information.
what's the sauce?
So there have been rumblings from Elliot Freeman. So basically an Elliot Freeman fashion. We'll see where it goes. Every Elliot Freeman scoop. The cap could be going up from 80 or what is it now? Like 88 million to 97 million.
yeah,
Wait, what?
It could be going that. If Chris Drury was balking at signing him for $1 million less, he wanted to sign for 11 million instead of 12 million, and he knew anything if the cap was going to go up that much, I think he dropped the ball with that one.
because if the cap goes up, he's going to demand a little more than 12
If you,
million.
if you I know
But
because he wants the
could demand-
percentages.
He
If you
could
could've-
demand so much money. He is going to just
All right,
ring.
he
He's
caps
going to
this.
wring every single penny
And
that
as
he
he
can
should.
out of Chris Drury, because
As you should.
Chris Drury, I'm saying this. If I'm looking at this from the perspective of a Ranger fan, I'm livid because
He didn't get it done.
Chris Drury, if I'm Igor Shesterkin, I look at Chris Drury, I look him dead in the eyes, and I say, "You failed me.
I
have put your team, your reputation. You would be working at Burger King right now if it weren't for me backstopping your flawed teams to the Eastern Conference Final every other year."
I've been a defender of Chris Drury, and I think he has done a pretty good job of building the team after taking over for Jeff Gorton. But if you're going to play hardball for $1 million, and if you had any inkling of knowing that the cap was going to go up that much, and you were playing hardball for $1 million, what are you doing? And $12 million is not going to mean the same thing in an $88 million cap hit compared to a $97 million cap hit. They are not the same thing. Those things are not the same. And you were playing hardball for that. I think NHL GMs are stupid, personally, for the most part. I mean, Chuck Fletcher was able to keep a
NHL GMs are some of the stupidest people in
Chuck
sports.
Fletcher was able to keep a job for two teams for multiple years, and he sucked. He's the reason why I think I could be a GM. He's legit the reason I think I could be a GM.
Not to mention Mark Bergevin, Peter Chiarelli.
Mark Bergevin.
Rob Blake.
Rob Blake.
God.
We talked about that in your show. I told you so.
Boys
Yeah.
clubs.
He is
Don Sweeney and
Talk
Cam
about
Neely.
Don
Oh
Sweeney.
my God,
Oh
Don
my God.
Sweeney.
Cam Neely was a heck of a
Cam
player.
Neely.
I know, yeah. But yeah, Don Sweeney is like Brian Cashman of hockey.
You
Yeah,
said that. You
that's
said to
right.
me on.
That's right. Like he
you
makes
said to me on
teams that are
Friday. You said
he makes
on my
teams
video.
that are good enough to make it to the playoffs and go deep
No,
in them
okay.
like sometimes, but
This is why I can't
are like
understand.
not good enough to get over the top.
This is why I can't believe Don Sweeney still has a job, even a decade after what he did.
Did they fire Jim Montgomery?
Yeah, they fired Jim Montgomery,
Jim
who won his debut game with the Blues last night, as I think I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Oh, great.
He did.
Great. They're like, the Blues might start looking a lot better now because Jim Montgomery, I mean, the Devils play them next. And I just want to say, I am loving the job that Sheldon Keefe is doing so far with this group.
I just wanted to finish my point about Don Sweeney. In 2015, in the NHL draft, that was the year the Bruins had 3 straight picks in the first round.
Oh, you told it to me on
I wish I
on
could show you
Wednesday.
this, but that would be too long. So in 2015, the Bruins had the 13th, 14th, and 15th pick. They picked in order: Jacob Zaboral, Jake DeBrusk, and Zachary Senyshyn. Those were the three picks.
Brusque wasn't terrible.
Jake DeBrusk was fine. You want to take a guess of who didn't? I mean, you kind of know this, but I don't know if you remember.
The next
I-
pick was
the next. Can you guess the next three picks right after?
I know was Zach
Matt
Werenski one of them?
Barzal.
That's one of them.
Matt Barzal, Zach Werenski, and
He was actually picked up ahead of this, so no, it's not him.
It's not.
But you
Zach
got one of
Werenski?
them.
I got Matt Barzal.
No, is it what team was winning it? Can you guess the teams at least?
No order in particular. We go Winnipeg, Ottawa, and Islanders.
Winnipeg was.
I got this. Matt Barzal, Kyle Connor, Thomas Chabot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Those were the next three
Kyle
picks.
Connor.
Those were the next three picks. And he still kept the job. Which the Bruins have had a pretty decent rosters in spite of it.
Didn't they draft Pasternak that year though?
Did they?
Or the year before, and they got Charlie McAvoy the next year.
I mean, yeah, okay,
So-
yeah, probably. But like you had three straight picks and you whiffed on basically all of them, except for maybe Jake DeBrusk. But
and then the three picks that followed ended up
the three picks
becoming,
immediately following them were our all-stars,
franchise cornerstone,
our core
players.
pieces to their teams.
It's kind of nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
God, no. Although imagine how awful the world would be if
The Bruins had all that.
had Matt Barzal, Kyle
And-
Connor, or Thomas Chabot, one of the three.
Like as the second line, to Pasternak, Bergeron, Marchand.
Yeah.
That
Like,
would-
imagine how awful that the human race. Imagine how much we would suffer because of that. And,
Again,
mind you, this would be in the late 2010s. They'd be emerging. Boston ran the world
in
in
2022.
in the late 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Boston sports in general.
Oh yeah.
Just ran the planet.
Oh yeah. But thankfully James are stupid. And yet they think they're the smartest people around. Each one of them thinks they're the smartest one.
Dude, but you can extrapolate an astonishing amount of talent from another team if you dangle a third round pick.
Yeah. Or if you have good scouts too.
Oh
They-
yeah,
they're
scouting is
defined.
kind of important. no?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very important.
It's
Um,
like when I look at Tom Fitzgerald and I see the moves that he's made, and there are like a fair amount of duds, but I look at like his miss rate compared to other GMs, and I'm like, you know what? This is fine.
You know, I am
Especially since like this past offseason, he made like every single so far, the Tom Fitzgerald offseason has been a masterclass.
yeah.
Because he signed Stefan Nason, he was signed to be a third line depth guy, and then became
But he has good
a-
finishing ability, man.
Like he has good finishing ability, and he's a net front presence on a power play that is the second best in the league.
You're second best now.
He
Nice.
hired Sheldon Keefe as head coach, who's the players are receiving
Well,
his stuff very well. They have a very strong defense. Speaking of defense, trade a 4th round pick to the Montreal Canadiens for Jonathan Kovacevic, who
Yep.
was supposed to be
A depth piece.
a 7th defenseman who'd come up in case of injury, and now he's part of.
you can't take him out of the
Now,
lineup.
now it's him and Jonas Siegenthaler are one of the best shutdown pairings in the league,
Who's
according to
Hamilton playing with? Dougie Hamilton.
Brendan Dillon.
Oh, okay.
that pairing is kind of meh, but
What about him
Really?
with
It's
Brett
been
Pesce?
bad?
Brett Pesce's
Brett
been really
Pesce.
good. He signed Brett Pesce, who's made the Luke Hughes defensive pairing one of the more defensively responsible in the league.
Oh, we can do with Stefan Nemec now.
Well, Nemec, I think you can trade him.
Probably, yeah.
I'm being so straight up when I say that we can trade him. I think this Devils team is very close.
It is very
I'm just
good.
looking
Hey, man, they're
at
good.
the way they are playing, and the main complaint the last couple years, even when they were winning a boatload of games a couple years ago, was the lack of snot and toughness. And this team has that
They're more well-rounded.
in spades. I mean, and not to mention Paul Cotter.
Yeah.
Big reason for that toughness being on the third line.
They're-
I mean, last night, and I ridiculed this at the time, but this guy on the Predators, LaRue, I don't even know his first name, but this guy, he wears like number 68, just a real pest, just a real jerk. And he was being a pain all game. And then late in the third period, Devils are up by 2. He bugs Timo Meyer. Timo Meyer cross-checks him in the face, knocks him down. Like there's blood, and Timo Meyer gets a 5-minute major and gets tossed.
Now,
And
see, if
I'm
Tom,
saying-
if Tom Wilson did that, it would be
Yeah, yeah.
it would be praised by
Tom Wilson,
hockey
yeah,
people.
Tom Wilson did that.
Or
So,
Matt Rempe.
so,
Matt
so
Rempe.
No, people hate Matt Rempe.
well, Matt Rempe, dude, you want to talk about a
oh,
stupid
yeah, he
penalty.
took a dumb penalty last night.
Yeah, and the Timo Meyer penalty, don't get it twisted. It was a very dumb penalty in the situation, considering that one of the Predators' big signings, Steven Stamkos, is only useful on the power play.
That's exactly why I didn't want the Rangers to sign him. That's exactly why they didn't want I wasn't really thrilled with the fact the Rangers were trying to sign him,
Like, so
because that's the last thing the Rangers need. Another
was
guy who
sitting there-
only produces on the power play.
I was sitting there just being like, are you kidding me? We're about to blow a 4-1 lead to a team who has been a boogeyman to us in this building for 10 years almost. Last time was the first time the Devils beat Nashville at the Rock since March of 2015. Barack Obama was president. And on the 5-minute major, they
stymied them.
only gave up one shot
That
on goal on a 5-minute
Speaking of
major.
peop- speak-
That was just not. That wasn't a kill.
Is-
that was a murder.
Is-
That was a penalty murder
is
right
Andrew,
there.
is Andrew Brunette a good coach?
That's a good
Actually,
question. That's a good question.
is he
Thank
actually a
you.
good coach, or is he just John Hines in disguise? But well, actually,
I
John
don't
Hines
know.
actually beat the Devils
Yeah,
all the
John,
time.
John Hines
Very
beat the
true, yes.
doors off the Devils.
I will say,
But I very much.
as much as I've like kind of like have my opinions about the Rangers and like have like been have had my own like negative thoughts, they're still in the top wild card spot, and I gotta say, the people they are ahead of,
The East is.
look the team
There are two halves of the Eastern
who,
Conference.
There are,
who has the second wild card spot? Take a guess.
Buffalo?
Yes,
Jeez,
I talked about that in my video today. Yeah.
that would be.
I mean, no, I know the Rangers got. I was at the game where they got killed by Buffalo. I was at the game like a couple weeks
The
ago.
Sabres haven't been bad.
They've been fine.
But again, how many times have we seen this out of the Sabres? They have a decent start. People start saying the P word about them,
No.
and then
But yeah, so it go after the Rangers.
Their start hasn't even been that great. It's
Devin
been
Levi.
like-
I looked at the money puck.
UPL's like been their starting goalie, right?
Who has it been?
Yeah.
UPL.
Devin Levi's been awful.
Devin
Yeah, he's-
Levi has been terrible. You want to talk about a guy who's been bad this year? Devin Levi has been
Yeah.
Let's-
horrendous.
let's
But
check his-
real
let's
quick,
check
I
his-
want to address one of the bad teams this season, and you guys brought them up briefly, and that's Nashville. They've been struggling.
And they dumped a ton of money in free agency. I said this on your show.
You did.
When you throw money at people in free agency and you splurge on a class, it typically doesn't end well. I mean, we've seen this countless times of teams splurging in free agency, because when free agency in hockey works differently than free agency in other sports. In other sports, you still get players who have reasonable amounts of prime years left.
Mhm.
In hockey,
A lot of them are like 30 or in their late 20s.
Yeah.
Very
who
late
are
20s.
who are on their back nine. And sure, there are some exceptions.
People who can still be effective.
Like there are some exceptions to this. I mean, I'm looking at my team, like Dougie Hamilton. He is one of the exceptions. I'm fortunate
Andre
to say
Palat. Andre Palat's
that.
terrible.
No,
No,
I
I thought
wouldn't
you were
say.
talking about people being bad.
like,
Andre Palat.
I'm saying there are exceptions to players being bad, but like Andre Palat,
okay. I didn't hear
that was a signing I didn't like at the time, and it's
I
a
was
signing
hesitant
that-
on it. I was.
Like,
when I was in
I'm
my
kinda
video on
like-
it.
Well, it was a constellation price for not getting Johnny Gaudreau, who RIP.
Fat-
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
RIP.
God rest his soul,
RIP.
Johnny Gaudreau.
The Gaudreaus are going to be in the December 3rd game between the Jackets and in Flames happening.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, but they're gonna be in the building for that.
That'll be a very interesting game.
As
As, not just because of the on ice town, because Columbus has won a couple of games in a row now to
They've
get
been
out of the
doing
bottom
good.
spot of the
Columbus.
of the
I'm
Metro.
never gonna.
You don't
I
have
mean,
a lot of faith in them, but they,
I'm
the
never. But
atmosphere-
that's
basically,
basically
they're at
gonna
fi-
beat the Devils.
they're at
but
five. They're at 500%.
But let me say
percentage-wise.
this. Let me say this. With how much emotion and energy that'll be in that contest,
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
it's gonna be unbelievable. It's gonna
Yeah.
be one of those phenomenons that we typically don't see.
it is.
So I'm not as intrigued of the game on the ice, but I'm intrigued to see the reaction around it.
It's still one of the most like tragic losses
It
the
is.
sport has experienced.
That we've
And the sports was
experienced.
experienced.
Yes. I mean, it's, for you guys who follow hockey more than I do, I've been able to witness the emotion around it from not just from the fans in Columbus, but from
Oh,
throughout.
But like,
the
but then people in the Northeast too, like in Jersey, Boston
Yes.
College, like
Being
in
New
the
Jersey,
Northeast.
New Jersey guy, right? Or like
Yeah, South
around-
South
yeah,
Jersey
South
guy.
Jersey guy.
Yeah, I'm a. Yeah,
So,
I
so it's
mean,
like you see
the game's grown in my state so
It
much
has.
in the
Yep,
last
and thanks in
like
part
10
to
to 20 years. I mean, thanks in part to that family.
Yeah,
you know,
to the
Johnny
Gaudreaus.
Gaudreau, Yeah,
yeah, it's his loss. His loss was a big loss to the sports world as a whole. And the way it was how he lost it was
And it
very
was
tragic.
shocking too.
Yeah.
I remember like when I found out about it. Before we go to our last time, I was wondering something. We were, oh god, I was like, I think I was like on the phone with my friends, and then someone sent out a thing on Twitter about it, and they're like, "Nah, that's not real." They're like, we all
I-
believed it was like one of those ancient myths, like one of those like
I
weird-
woke up after like the news was confirmed.
I heard someone
I
was-
opened Instagram. I was half asleep and I saw that Johnny Gaudreau died, and I'm like, what?
I heard like reports from certain people, but I have very bad opinions about the people who were breaking it before, who were getting the story out and getting rightfully crapped on for it.
yeah,
yeah.
just like
That was like the one I would say. That's probably the three weirdest.
I was hoping it wasn't
hours
real,
I've
but then
ever
it-
seen on Twitter. One of the three weirdest hours I've ever seen was people
Yeah.
trying to massacring the people on
Or
Twitter.
who were trying to like get the bottom of it before what happened, if it was real or not.
Yeah.
Not believe in, like, being in denial.
It was an absurd couple of hours.
I was
on
praying
Twitter.
it wasn't true, but then unfortunately it
I
was.
think we all were.
yeah.
But real
everybody.
quick, just so we can bring up morale a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about continue a team that I've been praising on my channel, on other shows, Winnipeg. A team that
Oh,
the
They are
one
7
issue with
that-
Winnipeg, they're
that's
14 and
that's
4.
a good team.
But
That is a good
what
team.
do I not like about Winnipeg? Do you know they're bottom 10 in attendance? Winnipeg.
I mean, yeah, Winnipeg. Have you been to Winnipeg?
I've
Dude,
never
but,
been.
do
I've wanted to
people,
go
like,
to Winnipeg.
Is Manitoba even like a real place? Like, I mean,
It's the Ohio of Canada.
The Ohio, that's crazy.
It is.
Ohio of
Yeah.
Canada.
It is.
I mean, in the
Jesus.
playoffs, that place
I-
is an
I-
amazing.
oh, that
like,
is the one
the
Eternal
whiteout.
vibes.
I
The
want
whiteout.
to see a playoff game in Winnipeg.
The
The
whiteout.
whiteout.
The whiteout. I was able to watch a couple of games on TV from Winnipeg, and like the crowds there. Oh my!
Yeah,
God.
it's like the smallest building, like smallest building in like the league, and yeah,
Smallest,
it's like one of the loudest ones.
I mean, we've seen. I mean, our basketball games
Yeah,
get loud.
and it's small. It's a small
Even if our
building.
team is not the best, the
Not
crowds are.
that's generous.
No, but I'm saying that like over the last couple of years, the team has been the best yet,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning of the year. Crowds
yeah.
are there. Like
Yeah, I mean, Luke and I worked camera for the home opener. We were in a.
It was
I worked the game yesterday. There was a
we were in
great
a
crowd
good
there
place
yesterday.
acoustically. I mean, it was. I mean, when
So I finally,
especially when they get on a run, that place gets loud.
Oh my god!
I'm
yeah.
really, I finally was able to get Devin Levi's stats up. Oh my god, they are really bad.
How bad are they?
He has an 870 save percentage
Open a window
and a goals against average of 395,
8-7.
and a goals against average of 395 in
How is
7
that
games played.
possible?
And I guess maybe because
Yikes, that's bad.
How is that possible?
he was
Well, as I put my headset on, I'll probably have to take it off very soon because that is the end of our show
That is about the
today.
end of our
That is
show.
the end of today's
Yeah.
episode of
Yeah,
Ball
it's the end of
Knowers.
today's episode.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the
we are thankful for that.
to the
Yes.
WIUR podcast, the WIUR Gales Radio YouTube channel. We are thankful for all of you that hit the like and subscribe button, as well as all of you guys who have followed this show, who have followed these two for the last year plus now, and have followed the journey for me for the last couple of years. So make sure to like and subscribe. But for now, alongside, as always, Cam Woolley and Luke Dolan, I'm Robbie Basil saying enjoy your Thanksgiving. See you guys next time.
Have a good
Happy
day.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.